Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner thieves in theaters January.
Oh, that's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, yo.
You won't believe the chaos unfolding in the music world right now. Burna Boy, the global Afrobeat superstar, is reportedly raising concerns about his high-profile connection with Diddy, suggesting that what once looked like a powerful partnership now feels more like a trap. The Grammy-winning artist has hinted at serious tensions behind the scenes, revealing a side of the industry that is far less glamorous than it appears. What was expected to be a game-changing collaboration has seemingly evolved into a complicated situation filled with pressure, restrictions, and unanswered questions. And as more details continue to surface, it's becoming increasingly clear that this may be far more than industry gossip. It could become a major wake-up call about how the music business really works. At the same time, conversations surrounding Diddy continue to generate intense speculation. Questions about the items reportedly seized during federal raids have fueled widespread debate, with some people arguing that certain details simply don't add up. Critics have pointed to the reported seizure of large quantities of baby oil, questioning why authorities would remove every bottle unless they believed something more significant was involved. Various theories have circulated online, with some commentators suggesting that investigators already knew what they were looking for before entering the property. While those discussions continue, Burna Boy's rise to global stardom remains impossible to ignore. He went from being one of Nigeria's brightest breakout talents to becoming one of the most influential Afrofusion artists in the world. Projects like African Giant helped launch a movement, while Twice as Tall solidified his position at the top and earned him a historic Grammy win. From sold-out arenas to worldwide recognition, it seemed as though he had everything an artist could dream of. But behind the success, the story may not have been as perfect as it appeared. Even the biggest stars face pressures that never make it into headlines. As rumors surrounding Burna Boy's relationship with Diddy grew louder, fans began dissecting every interview, every statement, and every subtle hint. Many became convinced that something was wrong. What initially looked like a strategic alliance between one of Africa's biggest stars and one of the music industry's most influential executives soon began raising uncomfortable questions. After all, Burna Boy had already achieved remarkable success on his own. Yet reports began suggesting that creative limitations and industry pressure were becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Some observers felt that he was slowly being boxed into a system where every move came with conditions attached. Suddenly, it seemed possible that reaching the highest levels of success might come with costs that aren't visible from the outside. As speculation intensified, discussions about Diddy's private world continued to dominate online conversations. Former associates and media personalities shared stories, opinions, and allegations about parties, celebrity culture, and the behavior of powerful figures behind closed doors. Some described environments where excess, secrecy, and influence seemed to operate under entirely different rules than the public imagined. Meanwhile, questions surrounding Burna Boy's business arrangements continued to grow. Reports suggested that his agreement with Diddy may have included terms that some viewed as unusually restrictive. On the surface, the partnership appeared mutually beneficial. Burna Boy brought talent, momentum, and a massive global audience. Diddy brought industry power, connections, and experience. But behind the scenes, some claim the arrangement may have affected revenue, touring decisions, and creative control. What initially appeared to be a major opportunity gradually began to look more complicated. Rumors suggested that nearly every aspect of Burna Boy's career could be subject to oversight, creating concerns about how much freedom he actually retained. If true, the arrangement raised important questions about ownership, influence, and the sacrifices artists sometimes make to reach the next level. Stories from people who spent time around Diddy only added more fuel to the discussion. Some recalled unusual experiences and encounters that seemed harmless at the time, but later took on a different meaning in light of current events. Others described situations that left lasting impressions, especially after hearing allegations that would emerge years later. For many fans, the biggest concern wasn't simply whether Burna Boy had signed a difficult agreement. It was the possibility that the partnership represented a broader pattern within the entertainment industry. Music history is filled with artists who achieved incredible success only to discover that contracts, obligations, and business arrangements had quietly limited their independence. Some of the biggest names in history sold millions of records while struggling to maintain ownership of their own work. That reality is what makes the Burna Boy situation so compelling. Diddy's reputation as a skilled negotiator and powerful executive is well known. Naturally, that leads people to wonder what Burna Boy might stand to lose if the rumors are accurate. The risks could extend far beyond music, potentially affecting his brand, business ventures, earnings, and long-term creative identity. According to reports, concerns intensified after a leaked conversation allegedly suggested that the agreement could reach into multiple revenue streams, including performances, merchandise, and business partnerships. Whether those claims are accurate remains unclear, but the possibility alone sparked serious debate. To many observers, it created the impression that while Burna Boy was building the empire, someone else might be positioned to benefit from a significant portion of its success. As more stories surfaced from people who had spent time around Diddy, accounts of unusual situations and private gatherings continued making headlines. Some described incidents that they claimed revealed aspects of celebrity culture rarely seen by the public. Others pointed to long-standing rumors that had circulated for years but never received widespread attention. Regardless of which stories people choose to believe, the larger issue remains the same. Burna Boy would not be the first artist to discover that success can come with unexpected compromises. Throughout music history, performers have repeatedly found themselves navigating agreements that seemed beneficial at first, but later became sources of frustration and conflict. And that's exactly why so many people are paying attention now. What began as speculation about a partnership has evolved into a much broader conversation about power, influence, and control within the music industry. Fans are no longer just asking whether Burna Boy made the right business decision. They're questioning how much freedom artists truly have once they enter relationships with some of the most powerful figures in entertainment. Despite all the rumors and controversy, Burna Boy remains one of the most influential artists in the world. Yet reports suggest that tension within the partnership continued to grow. Public appearances, studio sessions, and carefully curated images projected success, but insiders claimed the reality behind the scenes was far more complicated. Creative disagreements, financial disputes, and differing visions reportedly created friction that became increasingly difficult to ignore. What once looked like an unstoppable alliance gradually began to resemble a pressure-filled struggle over music, image, and control. The polished public image started showing cracks, reminding everyone that not every partnership survives the realities of business. As discussions expanded beyond Burna Boy, attention increasingly shifted toward the wider network of celebrities who had crossed paths with Diddy over the years. Commentators speculated about why so many public figures remained silent despite the growing controversy. Some argued that fear, reputation, and self-preservation were major factors. Others suggested that people were simply waiting to see how the legal situation unfolds before speaking publicly. The possibility of extensive surveillance and recordings became another major topic of discussion. Some commentators claimed that powerful individuals often protect themselves by collecting leverage over others, while critics argued that such allegations remain unproven. Regardless, the idea captured public attention and fueled even more speculation about what may eventually emerge. At the center of it all sits a larger question about influence. Diddy built a reputation not only as an artist, but as a businessman capable of shaping careers, creating opportunities, and controlling narratives. Supporters see that as evidence of vision and leadership. Critics see it as a sign of how much power one individual can accumulate within an industry. For Burna Boy, however, the conversation has become deeply personal. Many fans believe they've noticed changes in his music, interviews, and public demeanor. Some feel his artistic identity appears different than before, as though outside influence may be shaping the direction of his career. Whether that perception is accurate or not, it has become part of the broader narrative surrounding the partnership. As the speculation continues, one thing is clear. Burna Boy is no longer being viewed simply as an artist making hit records. To many observers, he has become a symbol of a much larger conversation about artistic freedom, ownership, and the hidden costs of success. And just when it seemed like he had been pushed into a corner, reports suggested that Burna Boy was beginning to push back. Carefully worded statements and subtle hints hinted at growing resistance. Meanwhile, the opposing side appeared equally unwilling to retreat. What began as rumors has now evolved into what many see as a high-stakes battle of influence and control. With both sides seemingly standing firm, the situation appears far from over.
And it said butt plugs, and he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you can do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. When he got to, I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude to carry no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So